Hi, guys, we're back. That's right, Karillagon Library Collection. Whoop, whoop. The series is Why'd You Buy That? This series explores many things, mostly the arts, the books, the crafts, the design, the decor, the evidence of Filipino American history and the Philippines. Think of it as Oprah's book club meets Antiques Roadshow, always with that Filipino flavor in it. And why'd you buy that? Well, I bought this. Why did I buy that? Needlecraft, right, from August 1930. It is a full format magazine published in New York, and it is the magazine of home arts with a beautiful Filipina lady on the front of it. Obviously, the depiction is of her in the Philippines embroidering something, right? Embroidering a piece of fabric. And the fabrics in the Philippines at the time were the piña cloth, the abaca made from the banana leaf, the hemp, and husi, which is a blend of the piña and silk. So those were the fabrics and textiles of the Philippines at the time that were embroidered. And in this magazine from August 1930, and the first article in here and a beautiful article in this magazine about embroidery. And the title of the article, and I'm sure you guys have seen embroidery of the Philippines, and you wonder why is everything embroidered in the Philippines, like napkins, tablecloths, all that stuff. It's because, according to this magazine, and this was in 1930, vintage, right? Almost 100 years old, almost antique. The most beautiful embroidery in the world was made centuries ago by Philippine women. Yes, big ups to us because those are facts. It's a magazine. Now, I am more than happy to scan and send it via email to anybody who wants it. You can hit me up in the DMs or hit me up in the comments, and I will send it to you. I will even copy off of you at the old school copier to send to you by mail. I love doing stuff like that. I like that you appreciate it, and why not? It's good for us all to learn because there are several articles in this magazine about the Philippines. Obviously, it was about the Philippines. They talk about a lot of things, including the history of embroidery, which was brought to the Philippines when the Spanish came to the Philippines in the 1500s. And it was brought by the nuns. And the nuns had taught the Filipinos, the Filipinas, how to do embroidery. So, and in 1930, when this magazine was published, the Americans were in the Philippines, and the Philippines were considered somewhat American. And pre-war, World War II hadn't hit the Philippines yet, so the Philippines was still considered the queen of Asia. The Philippines, beautiful, mad resources, including gold, tobacco, sugar, hemp, everything, and then including people. There's 17 million people in the Philippines. That's called labor. That's like, and not even labor, just resourceful is a land of resources. Okay, so this magazine comes out in 1930, and it is during a time when the Philippines is still hoping that they will be getting their independence from the Americans, have their own sovereign nation. The Filipinos, especially the Filipino women, were very independent, extremely skilled, smart, all the things, and they need to have their own country. That was like the through line in this magazine. Yeah, the most beautiful embroidery in the world was made centuries ago by Philippine women. There's another little article in here about nightgown and napkins being a big deal in the Philippines. And back in the day, because this is all everybody's into handcrafted, handmade, this is truly the hand. There's no machines to do any of this back in the Philippines, not during this time. Okay. So when people were doing embroidery, it was special. It was unique. It was so unique that each pattern, each family had its own style of pattern. And they handed these things down generations to like their children and their children's children. That's how unique the embroidery was in the Philippines. It was almost like a snowflake. Like it was unique to the family. None of it was identical. That's a machine thing. Machines make things identical. Handcrafted thing, the human hand and the skill set, like no other. And here's the other craziest thing a lot of people don't know, that this was an export. They exported a lot of the embroidered textiles and fabrics out. It was a home business. Women were doing it at their houses, and it brought in, at the time, making embroidered goods Made $4 million a year in the Philippines back in the day, back in 1930 when this magazine was published. Right? Women's work at home, which is usually devalued. They made $4 million for the country every year, if not more. They even have like recipes in here, and there's a recipe in here for adobo for 1930, and there's a bunch of recipes like peach shortcake, sauteed green tomato, and they're right there, adobo Filipino for stewed chicken. Yes, food facts for home folks. That's what it was called. Amazing. It was a full interview with a lady whose husband was an ambassador to the Philippines at the time. And her name was Madame Camilo Osias, Osias. This interview is called "When Expert Needle Women Turn to New Fields of Expression, They Continue to Excel" by Florence Yoder Wilson. Miss Wilson interviewed Madame Camilo Osias, and they talked all about how dope women are and how independent they are. And in the Philippines, they had a lot more rights than around the world. And that the Philippine women were the people in charge of a lot of businesses and holding down farms and making money for the family. That's amazing. And then there's a whole thing about the dainty nightgown in Philippine embroidery. I guess that was a thing. And it was one of the things that they sold a lot of. Nightgowns with embroidery, dainty embroidery, demure embroidery. Yes. So very, very feminine. So that's why I bought that. Needlecraft, the magazine of home arts. Shout out to eBay. That's where I got it from. eBay is always filled with treasures, somewhat addicting treasures and hoarding treasures, but treasures nonetheless. Carilligon Library Collection. Why'd you buy that series? And this one is Needlecraft, the magazine of home arts. And it's going into the Carilligon Library. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye. Tell somebody. Hi. Bye.